Let's get more analysis on it now. At the Bekkersdal Tavern shooting. We're now joined by Professor Nirmala Gopal from the Department of Criminology at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Prof, a very good afternoon to you. Well, I mean, just a tragic story here, another one in the country. Prof, before we get into, the drivers of the kinds of mass shootings we're seeing, particularly around taverns, perhaps let's talk about just the kind of investigation we are seeing at that crime scene in terms of the important linkages and items that police are looking at. Calvin Lula has just spoken to officials, SABC officials, saying that they've been finding more and more cartridges, which will tell them a very important story about the kind of firearms that were used there. How important is this from a ballistics investigation, but also from a forensics investigation?
Good afternoon, Unachi, and good afternoon to your viewers. And of course, I think while we say a good afternoon, we know it's not so good for the majority of the country. We all are in mourning at this point in time. So I think, the kind of information that Calvin has just shared with us via the police officer that was there, extremely important, because I think Calvin asked some important questions around the fact that there were more AK-47 cartridges than the pistols that the police had originally spoken about. And I think that that is extremely important in terms of trying to investigate where exactly these firearms have actually originated from. And I think also the type of gun that one would use also gives an indication of the ruthlessness of this kind of crime. And I think the police, with their psychology department as well as their forensics department, would be able to use this kind of information to get closer to profiling those perpetrators that were involved today, or early this morning.
Yeah, and I wanted to start there because when you listen to just some of the community members, some of the residents, in terms of who they suspect was behind this, of course, police are investigating and they are tracking those responsible. We understand around 12 suspects are currently being sought. But when we talk then about just some of the drivers of these kinds of shootings, you will recall, of course, the Salzburg mass shooting where 12 people were killed just recently. Here we are starting to hear issues around it could be gang related, it could be illegal mining related. What are you picking up?
So, Nachi, I think in the absence of having a comprehensive picture at this point in time, I think what we can only do is speculate. But if we think about the drivers and the location where this actually happened, and based on previous experiences of tavern shootings, one can, I think, quite safely say that it could have been some conflict or grievance, whether it's gang related or between the owner and a rival tavern owner, etc. Those could be some of the possible drivers. I don't necessarily believe that it's part of the crowd would have been gang members who are visiting this tavern, although the probability is not completely ruled out.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I would think it's more some a grievance, conflict, gang related that had to be settled between the tavern owner and some other, actor. Could be economic in nature because this is largely driven by economics.
Yeah. In recent weeks, Prof, we've seen, of course, the SAPS cracking down on these kinds of establishments, confiscation of thousands of illegal alcohol and liquor sold in some of these establishments. To what extent do you think that these taverns are actually at the center of these mass shootings that we are seeing? The reason I'm saying that is because if you also listen closely to some of the residents, speaking about things like there are more taverns and shebeens in our communities than there are churches, as an example. Surely that is something that police should be reining in hard on, particularly when it comes to closures of some of the illegal establishments.
Yes, absolutely, Unachi. Closing down those illegal establishments is just should be high on their priority list. And of course, listening to the community members, which is such an important source of information, if it's impacting them negatively, I think it's just also equally critical for police and, of course, relevant government departments to take into consideration how these illegal taverns are impacting the community at large, especially in a time with such high crime rates and high unemployment rates. I don't believe that these taverns, especially both legal and illegal, I don't think that they serve any good purpose, really.
Absolutely. Prof, let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That was Professor Nirmala Gopal, Criminology Department at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. All right.